Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to look at something a little bit different and we're going to look at UK resellers. We're going to see how QuickBooks can be used for them to make their bookkeeping really easy. So let's have a look.
I can get him out of my head.
Hello, my name's Aaron Patrick. I'm a chartered accountant, I own my own practice. I also am a certified UK trainer, and what a lot of people don't know is I'm also a UK reseller. We only resell on a part-time basis, but we still need to make sure our books are in line, and we need to make sure we get everything to the penny so that we can make sure that we can pay the right taxes and that we're making a profit on everything we sell. So let's see how QuickBooks is used for me and my clients to make sure that we get the best out of making QuickBooks work for us. Hello, Future Aaron here. Just doing the editing of this one and notice I didn't actually explain what my reselling was. So I thought I could give you a quick tour. So this is our little HQ when it comes to reselling. You'll notice we've got quite a few bits here for the packaging, and we've got a little area here where we can do our photos. And then really depleted at the moment, but this is our little stock area. So you can see here we've got all our little stock all built all over here. Again, depleted, but the idea is as soon as we're out of this lockdown, we'll be able to get some more stock on the shelves. So there you have it, a quick 5-second tour of our reselling business. Thought it'd just be nice to put a little bit of context to it so that when I show you how to do the bookkeeping, you can see it nice and easy. Do remember though, this video is designed to look at it in totality, so it's really quick and snappy. I'm not going to go into any detail whatsoever in terms of how to achieve most of the functionality within QuickBooks, but I've got plenty of videos for you to have a quick look at and see how it goes from there. If you're going to spend time doing your bookkeeping, you might as well get as much information there as possible, and you might as well let the bookkeeping software do the most work for you. So let's take a look at it and see what we can look at. Okay, so from a QuickBooks point of view, you'll notice I've now logged myself into a typical client. One of the things for a reseller that's really important is thinking about where you're going to look at in terms of your transactions. So there's three main areas. Your main bank account, if you have one, that's always going to be useful. PayPal is a huge part of reselling, especially if you're doing it on eBay. So we want to make sure that we're connecting PayPal to QuickBooks to make it nice and straightforward. And then cash. Cash is always going to be something that as a reseller we're going to get involved in. If we're going on a boot, if we're going to look at car boot sales or anything like that, then it's something we want to make sure we've recorded on QuickBooks. So first and foremost, I need to make sure that I've got everything set up in QuickBooks so I'd like it. What I'm interested in this particular client is a non-VAT registered client, and we'll look at how VAT can be quickly integrated in a later video. But for this one, we're going to concentrate just on a non-VAT registered client. And this page here is when you first log into QuickBooks, is what we call our dashboard. And this lets me know how I'm doing in terms of getting everything sorted out. So for example, it's telling me that I've got, from a profit and loss, I've made £90 at this point in time. It's telling me if I've got any invoices that I've sent out and not yet paid yet. So you might do that from time to time. You might have a private sale and send it over. And then we've got an expenses breakdown here. And as you can see, I've not done any bookkeeping in the last 30 days. So I've got information to put in there. And then the important bit really here is your bank account. And this is the bit you've got to be really comfortable about. So first of all, I've got my PayPal account here. You'll notice in QuickBooks, I'm only showing 67p, but the bank balance is £501. So obviously there's something I need to do to get that fixed. Also, a big red thing here saying need attention. Therefore, I need to give QuickBooks more credentials, or I've got to update my credentials to make sure that works. I've got my bank balances over here. So I've got how much is in QuickBooks compared to how much is there. And I've got a number here, 89 to review, with 18 hours ago it was last updated. So I know my data's up to date, but I've got 89 transactions effectively to deal with. I've got my cash on hand, and this is where I'm going to be doing all my cash transactions. And every time I log in here, one of the things I want to look at is make sure, am I happy that that cash in hand figure is right? Is that the right figure for me to be seeing? Okay then, so let's concentrate on the most important bit, which is your bank account originally. So I'm going to go and jump into the bank. So I'm going to jump to my bank section. And I'm going to pick my actual bank account. These other two are either PayPal or something, another account that we're probably not going to use. Now this is where it gets really easy, and this is where you can get QuickBooks to work in your favour. First of all, when I start going through the bank statements and everything that's here, you'll notice that quite a lot of these transactions appear time and time again. And I can start telling QuickBooks and teaching QuickBooks what to do with them. And it's really, really straightforward. So the first thing I'm going to do is, if I do by description, that's going to make everything nice and tidy for me. And from there, I can have a look down and try and find anything that is something that happens on a regular basis. Now, one of the ways I can make this work really quickly for me is I can use my batch actions button. So if I tick all four of these items here, tick, 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 and tick, I can go batch actions, I can go modified, and I can even put purchase of stock just there. Now I created that purchase of stock, but you can call it purchases, you call it whatever you need to do. And all I need to do is press apply and add. Those 4 transactions are added. So if I go through my list, making sure I've got a description shown here, it's going to make it really quick for me to go through and put all those things together. Also, I can make QuickBooks work for me as well, and I can teach it. So let's look at this post office transaction here. I click into the first one. So to click into, I click on the name itself. I then need to choose what the category is going to be and what the supplier is. So in this case, I'm going to call or make a new one called post office. I'm now going to put a category called delivery fees, because this was me going to the post office and paying for new postage. So let's press add. Now QuickBooks has started to learn that. It's gone green. And you'll notice that if I was to change it again, back to delivery fees, that's because of this section here. We'll set post office delivery fees from now on in. So when you tell it the first time round what it is, it's then going to know that, and next time round it's going to be able to do that for you. Now, another key feature is if you do something repetitively in QuickBooks, so in this case, I've just posted a post office transaction, so let's now post the second one. You'll notice it'll come up at saying, oh, wait a minute, that's something you're doing on a repetitive basis. Should you create a rule about this? And it's telling me that next time it says post office, should we always keep it as delivery fees? And in my case, it's exactly perfect for me. I want that to happen each and every time. I even have an option down here for auto add. So I tick on auto add, I press create rule, and now every time it sees post office going through my bank, automatically going to post it there. I don't need to come back to this screen again. Now sometimes when you come to creating a rule, it could be that it's different names. So we've got here TFL and TFL travel authorization. Now if that's the case, you can create a rule purposely for that one, and when you create the rule you can dictate what it's going to look for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the item itself, and at the bottom it says create rule from this transaction. Let's make that nice and big. Now from there then I'm going to press create rule from this transaction. I'm going to call it TFL transport or travel even. And basically what I'm saying is every time a word contains, now I don't want it to say TFA travel authorization, I just want it to say TFL. Every time it sees TFL, transport from London, and I don't need it to worry about the amount, let's just leave it any amount, then I want it to go to an expense of travel. And also at the bottom here, I have the option to auto categorize and auto add. That means, again, if it sees the word TFL, it's automatically going to add that transaction in. So let's save that. Now you can see how quick and easy those TFL transactions are now automatically in QuickBooks for me. Now, as an example, let's look at the income side of things. We'll see an income here from Square. Now, Square is one of those electronic point of sales devices that we have on us. So if we ever need to accept a debit card or credit card, we can do that in person. I want it to then, every time it sees the word square coming in, I want that to become a new form of income. So I click on square. I'm going to use that option to create rule from the transaction. I'm going to say square income. I want the description contain square. I don't care about the amount, I'll delete that one. And category wise, I'm going to create something brand new here because I care about these sort of transactions and I want to see them split every time I look at my, say, income statement. So let's put square income. And I literally just type a brand new category in there and it gives me the option to add it. So let's add that. I want it to be an income type as account type as income, but my detail type, I'm just going to do sale of product income. I'm happy with my square income name, press save and close. So now every time it sees the word square as an income, it's going to put square income as a category, auto categorize that one, press save. Every time we make a sale on our little device, it's automatically going to come in there for me. And I can find more items like that. So my Hermes, every time I see that, I would create a rule based on that one. PayPal, that's going to be a big one for me because it's all about basically money coming in. So every time I see PayPal, I'm going to create a rule. So PayPal in. Now, I just need to be careful on this one. I only want it to be when I go into this bank account. When it contains the word PayPal, I want it to become a transfer because we're going to see how that's going to work from PayPal. And I want it to auto-categorize and auto-add. So now every time I move money from my PayPal account to my account, my bank account, QuickBooks is going to deal with that for me. So let's press save. Now I've started to create quite a few rules here and I'm already split this down quite a lot. And I'm just going to keep following this process and keep creating these rules because once I've created a rule, then or I'm happy to post them individually, I'm just going to be left with those transactions I might want to think about in a little bit more detail. Now, if I need to look at my rules in any more details, I press at the very top here, banking and rules, and click on rules. And you'll notice from this area, this is all about what rules we've already got in place. And if I need to, I can edit them or delete them or create a brand new one from scratch at the top right here. So do get in control of rules because rules is going to make your life so much easier. Okay, so that's dealing with the bank account. Now to add a new bank account, just so we've seen it, we go up to the add account button at the top and basically find the bank account you want. And basically if you've got an online way of getting into your bank statement, you'll be able to connect it from here. We're actually going to connect PayPal today, so I'm going to click on PayPal. Press continue, press agree. So first of all, you need to put your PayPal credentials in. Once you've done that, it's going to load up for you. Once you've done that, it's going to load those transactions and it's going to connect to PayPal. And I'm going to say I want all my transactions to come in. Now we're going to connect it to QuickBooks. We're now going to be able to use those rules to make our life a lot easier. For example, if you see here, we've got Packline. Well, Packline is going to be some delivery fees for me. And they're the sort of transactions where every time they come into QuickBooks, I might as well just get them set up straight away. So again, I create a rule. I'm talking about Packline delivery or Packlink. So Packlink delivery. So effectively, this is when you're using eBay to buy your postage. I'm happy that they're going to delivery fees, but again, let's use that auto add feature, press save, and every time I buy something from Packlink going forward, it'll automatically just go into QuickBooks for me. And then when it comes to income coming into PayPal, I just want every time that some income comes in to go to sales, eBay sales. So all I do is, again, let's create a rule. And all I want to do is PayPal money in. I'm only interested in PayPal Bank, but I want it to be an amount that's greater than £0. I want my amount to go to sales, and I'm even going to create a brand new one called eBay Sales. Just sell it. So now any money that comes into PayPal, we're going to treat as money in as eBay sales. So auto categorize an ad and press save. Now the only time this could be an issue is if there's, say, a refund or you're adding money in. That's why you need to be a little bit more savvy with those rules. So let's go back to the rule page. You'll notice from the rule page that this is all your list of rules that we mentioned before. But one thing that we need to also know is the rule at the very top is the one that's always going to be put done first. So when you've done PayPal money in, if you do have any other circumstances where they're not going to be actual sales made, just make sure that rule is above it. That way, that rule will be applied first, and then every other transaction, which is going to be a majority of transactions, can go in there. Now, if you're not comfortable by putting that rule there, do remember that you could just put maybe all your received transactions, tick, 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 batch actions, modify, and put them to eBay sales. Either way, it's going to be nice and quick and easy for you to get those transactions in. Let me take a moment to talk about our sponsor, Boffix.com. Boffix.com. What they do differently is they have one subscription to offer all your business needs. It could be accounting, virtual office, call handling, IT services, legal, or workspaces. They've got you covered. From an accounting point of view as well, they can get you options where you can actually look at fantastic deals, and they can even offer you QuickBooks subscription. If you want a QuickBooks subscription, these guys have got you covered. They'll be able to offer you the best rates and best deals you've got going, and offer you support on top of that as well. Also, if you are interested in them, you can look at any price point that you want. So whatever your business needs, whatever your financial commitments are, you can go along, put in the details you need, and then you can decide how much is going to be worthwhile to you. So thanks for Boffix for supporting this video, and hopefully you guys can use them to be able to grow your business. Okay, so let's have a quick look at those few transactions we've put in there, but it's not taken us no time at all. And we've already got a bit of a history of what's going on over here. We've got a PayPal bank balance starting to come into fruition, and everything looks very tidy. Now, if I want to make sure that I'm really happy with these, I'd look at reconciling the bank, and we've got a video of how to reconcile a bank, so do have a look at that one. But effectively, we want these two figures to be the same, and when they are the same, that's me being comfortable with the fact that I've got most of my transactions in there. Also, from here, I'm going to use my opportunity on the right hand side, and this is how I can deal with cash. I'm going to look. I've got it cash on hand. You call it whatever you want. It could be petty cash turn. It could be whatever you need it to be. But if you click on this little item here, it's going to take you to the cash on hand area. So this is your cash effectively ledger. So this is all the transactions that have happened. And for me to then deal with a new transaction, I can literally click on this item here and pick a transaction. So if I made a sales receipt, let's put a new sales receipt in. If I've paid an expense, I click on expense, I put it in there. To me, that's the quickest and easiest way to see your cash account and be able to put all your cash account transactions in there. Also, don't forget to use your mobile as well. So on the mobile, we can quickly go in and see what transactions we've already got in there. So if I was to bring up QuickBooks. Mobile app. Don't forget to use this as well. So from here, you can quickly go in and you can add new transactions. And the most useful part of this is the option called Snap Receipt. So from a snap receipt point of view, imagine you've got a brand new receipt like this one here, and I want to include that in QuickBooks. Well, all I do is I get my phone out, go to the app, press snap receipt. When I snap the receipt, it's going to open up a camera. I take a photo of that transaction. It takes a photo of it for me. I literally press use this photo, and that transaction has now been added to QuickBooks. What QuickBooks does is it reads that transaction and puts it directly in there. And if you need to look at that further, look at my receipt capture video where we go in a lot more detail of how that works. Okay then, so that was a real quick and easy way of looking how we can use QuickBooks to make bookkeeping work much easier for UK resellers. Now, I haven't gone into too much depth in this video, and I've got plenty of other videos for you guys to have a look at and look more detail in certain areas, so maybe the banking side or the receipt capture side. But the idea here is to see how useful QuickBooks can be for the UK resellers, and how you can use the features within QuickBooks to make it really easy for you to quickly get data in. And from a reselling point of view, that's the important thing. We want to get our data in there. We want to make sure it's all up to date. When it comes to things like our tax returns and everything else, we want the data to be there. And especially in this sort of climate, where we may need to look at maybe borrowings or something like that, then we're going to need really strong bookkeeping to be able to get us that information. And if you do have an accountant, it's really useful for them to be able to use that data to explain to you what things mean and explain to you how your business is doing and everything else. And the more data you can give them and the more up to date that data is going to be, the more valuable that information to you is going to be at that point. Now, one of the other things about using QuickBooks is the fact that you can now use that data and you can actually extract to see how you're doing. So for a quick little tour of it, if I went to reports and looked at profit and loss by month, here you can see if I did my all dates, run reports, you can see how my business is doing. So income, expenditure, and net income there. Now, clearly you've seen with this particular example, I've still got lots of transactions still to put in there. But the more I teach QuickBooks, the more I'm learning or telling QuickBooks what each transaction means, much more quickly to be. And don't be afraid to create multiple different accounts. So here I've got eBay sales, PayPal income, Facebook Marketplace income, sales, just generic sales, Square income. I've got delivery fees, purchase of stock, shipping and freight costs, PayPal fees, travel. I've got all manner of different accounts and elements there. And don't be too worried about having to put multiple different accounts in, just to make it worthwhile for you going forward. Hopefully you found that useful. Personally, I find that QuickBooks is the perfect solution when it comes to UK resellers. Connecting your PayPal, connecting your bank account, using that receipts capture feature within QuickBooks is going to make your life really easy. And it means you don't have to sit there trying to figure out all the sales and everything else. Just get the information in there. You can go one step further and you can connect your actual eBay account directly to QuickBooks if you want to. But at the moment, I'm finding just adding that PayPal account the best way of doing it. Well, that's been me. My name's Aaron Patrick. Join me on the next video where we'll look into a little bit more detail about how to use QuickBooks for your business. Stay safe.
I say yeah. I told him I can be a fighter if you want. I'll be there to catch you if you fall. I can make it brighter when it's dark, I told him I would do it all for you, and I know you do it for me too. I can be a fighter if you want. I can be a fighter. I can be a fighter if you want. I can be a fighter if you want. Oh, the way that I feel, yeah, I know that it's real, 'cause I can get in my